Hi guys, and welcome to episode 19 of my knitting channel. My name is Marlene. Thank you for coming back if you've already subscribed and have watched some of my videos before, but if you're new here or you've come to this channel through my last travel and vlog content, thank you so much for coming back to the knitting podcast. This is basically how this iteration of the channel began. About I'm coming up to a year. I mean, it's only coming up in November, but I'm already anticipating being online and kind of like vlogging and podcasting about my knitting journey coming up to a year. I just think it's so exciting. I love doing it. I really love interacting with you guys, and whenever you guys leave comments, it's just the best thing to comment back. Find y'all on Instagram too. You can find me on Instagram too if you want to, at Marlene Knits. It's the same handle that I have here. So yeah, I hope if you do like content like this, feel free to like the content. Whenever someone that I love to watch puts up a new video, I just immediately click the like button so I don't forget. I know most people just forget. I've asked my friends about it and they gave me the feedback that they just don't interact on YouTube as much as they would on other channels or like platforms like Instagram, for example, and I completely get that. And they just don't often like. I mean, my dad has told me that he always likes my videos, so that's so cute of him. So I guess it depends on what type of YouTube consumer you are, but like if you do like this content, I really enjoy doing it, but it also takes a lot of time and I don't really get paid for it. I do make some AdSense money every month, which is directly going into the channel again. So yeah, I've actually put up a Ko-fi. That should be the last thing for like housekeeping, as some people like to call it, which I think is a cute saying. I actually saw a couple of people do that recently who have kind of a similar channel format and also kind of like subscriber count. So I thought maybe that's something that your guys are interested in. If not, there's no pressure at all. It just means that if you want to support me with just the cost of a coffee, you could do so over on my Ko-fi. I link it. I feel really weird saying it, but also I shouldn't, because I know what I'm putting into this, and if you do enjoy it, you can support it through this now. You could also gift me a pattern that's on my wish list on Ravelry. I also do feel a bit funny for saying it, but that just means that I will have bigger variety of patterns to try out and tell you guys about. I just feel like pattern buying can get quite expensive. Not that it's not completely justified by all the work that designer put into it, the designer put into coming up with a pattern, but also I feel like there is this option of gifting patterns, and if you would like to kind of use it to say thanks for what I do on this channel, you could do that. I'll have all of this linked. If you do not want to do any of that, please don't feel like any obligation. Just be here, knit with me, like the video if you do like it. And yeah, let's get on with knitting. I have so many finished objects, a couple of whips, works in progress, and a lot of yarn to show you. I've got all of my acquisitions from the US with me that I not got at Flock. So all the things I pre-ordered to my friend Chelsea's house, all the things that I got at local yarn shops while we were in the Pacific Northwest traveling together, and actually one thing that was sent to me prior to my travels, but I have not yet come up with any plans on what to make with it. And another thing I got at a new local yarn shop that I want to recommend to you guys. So if that sounds like something that you would enjoy watching, please stay tuned and let's get into what I'm actually wearing today. So I really hope the camera is doing whatever it's supposed to do. What you just saw was actually me trying to set up the camera, and then sometimes I just start talking and it goes on and I don't want to stop because I feel quite good about the take. And so yeah, let's talk about what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Anchors Summer shirt by Petite Knits. This is knit in Sandnes Garden Line in the color Kit. Let me stand up so you can actually see it. I'm trying a new thing today where you can actually like see a bit more of my body like this. I hope it works out. I feel like I'm already sweating. It's actually raining today, which is nice because we're having like our neighbors are having something done to their roof, and there's a lot of shouting men outside the last couple of days and like workers on the roof. So it's been impossible for me to get like to sit down and actually film a video, but like now it's raining and I don't think they can do any work, which is good for me. Not so good for them, but yeah. So yeah, I knit this on my journey throughout the Pacific Northwest. If you've seen that video, you are familiar with the look of this. I actually casted it on before going and then like knit all of it. The one modification that I actually did is shorten the body. You can tell it is like, you cannot actually tell, but like it hits me at a really nice point. I feel like I do think it hits me at a really nice point. When I sit down, it covers the top of my jeans. When I stand up, it's still covered, but I am mostly wearing high-waisted bottoms, and so I felt like this was a great length to like end on, which meant that I also still had like 2 skeins of the line left over. That could also come from like Petite Knit overestimating the amounts needed a bit, or like putting in a buffer to make a swatch, which I didn't do. I felt like this has been made so many times with 4mm needles. If it had a bit more of a bigger gauge or a bit of a tighter gauge, I thought that it was pretty easy. Yeah, it was just a very low effort, I don't even know the word for it. I just didn't gauge swatch, and now I'm trying to justify myself why I didn't do that. I love it. It has like a pretty perfect fit. If there any more information that you might require regarding size or anything, I've put it all in my Ravelry project, which you will always find in the description box. I always link I try to link all the stuff that I'm talking about, and then link the Ravelry page as well. So yeah, this is my first finished object, and also my first what I'm wearing. The first what I'm wearing. I'm not gonna change. So yeah, that is that. I'm actually gonna pull from my little stack, little preview of what I've finished this month. It all looks quite autumnal already, which I quite like. Like through and through, autumn girly. I love that so many people are in this like community, which I mean, it does make sense, right? We're all knitters, but still there's a lot of people into this like whole Gilmore Girls, I don't know, chai latte. Yeah, and like I think Casey from Young Folk Knits, she made a brilliant video about the Nora Ephron kind of like autumnal look, and I get that like feeling too. I'm feeling like quilts and apples and like pumpkins are coming up and all of it, and I feel like I'm like the 20th person this week probably coming up into your subscription box and being like, I'm so ready for autumn, but like obviously I am ready for autumn. It's been so cozy. I love it. I mean, temperatures have dropped massively here, so I feel like if that is not the case for you, I can totally understand why you wouldn't feel like that. But for us here in the Northern Hemisphere, and especially in Central Europe, it's been like that. And so, and still, I haven't felt weird knitting a bit thicker stuff, especially if it's a smaller project in the summer too. And so let's start. I'm rambling. Let's start with my finished object number 2. It's the Sunday socks by Petite Knit. Again, a Petite Knit project. These were made using the Sandnes Gun Perfect in a grey mottled colorway. It's like a grey beige. They're size 37, EU 37, which I don't know what that is in US, but you can see it's quite a tiny human, obviously it's a human, but like a tiny adult size, could be a big kid size. These are going to be a Christmas present for my mother-in-law to be. We're not even like engaged or anything, but like she's like a second mom to me. I've known her for so many years now. It's my boyfriend's / partner's mother. I always feel like it's so difficult, so I just say mother-in-law, although we're not technically in-law because we're not married, right? This has been so confusing sometimes, but yeah, I've actually had a friend be like, are you actually married, you guys? I'm like, no, we're not. So yeah, Sunday socks by Petite Knit. This is such a straightforward pattern. I didn't do any modifications. I just knit the thing. It is quite a long sock tube, but I did kind of like block it at that point, so she can wear it obviously however she wants, but I felt like this looks a bit nicer if I gift it to her this way. It's a bit more concise and then like a whole, like a very long tube. Also, when I blocked it, I wasn't able to put it on the whole thing, and so I felt like this way it would be blocked out a bit nicer. But yeah, this is going to be the first of a couple of Sunday sock pairs that I'm going to make leading up to Christmas for some family members. I had to come to the realization that I will not be able to always make stuff for people, and it's connected to a lot of guilt and like shame for me, and I don't know why. Little tangent here, if you always also sometimes feel like you should be making more for other people, your brain is lying to you. This is your craft, your hobby, and it's okay to just knit for yourself. If you do enjoy knitting for others, it is also okay if you just give like one thing to like 1 or 2 or 3 people in your family. If you're like me and you have a bigger family or chosen family too, it is not possible in a regular life schedule to knit for everyone in your family. It's just not attainable. It's not doable. And I'm probably mostly saying that to myself right now to have it on camera and not forget about it, because I feel so much guilt about it. Even now, like I've started knitting in August for Christmas, so I get as much done as I can. There can be some like not very thought out comments from family members too that don't knit and don't know how much time, love and money can go into knitting. Not trying to be a mean person, but like it's my craft, it's my hobby, it's my passion, and I choose who to knit for. And if I do not choose to knit for you, that doesn't even mean that I don't love you, but it's like I just have 2 hands and I've sometimes experiencing pain and I need to recover from that wrist joint arm pain, and also I love making stuff for myself, and that's okay. That was a kind of a tangent, mostly directed at myself so I do not forget, but if you're also struggling with some kind of feelings around that topic, I am the person telling you it's okay. You do not have to knit for everyone. Okay, trying to go in the order of things and how I finished them. This was actually the first thing that I finished, and since I've kind of not podcasted for like over a month, which I'm sorry for, but also I've put up so much other content in that month, and it's been content that actually takes a very long time to edit. I think I've had like 2 hours of footage, over 200 clips condensed into this first vlog that I put up, which is then 40 minutes, a lot of like audio editing too. And I mean, I hope you enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. It just took me a lot of time, a long time to edit, and that's why I'm just coming to you now. But I've also already planned the next video, so don't fear. I'll be back, and I'll be back more regularly starting this autumn and winter, I hope. Knock on wood. Okay, third finished object is the Portobello sweater by Coco Amore Knitwear. This is it, kind of like folded, but like this is it full length. This was the project that I made for our summer stripes cowl, which just ended yesterday. I'm going to, if you've taken part in that cowl, I'm going to look through all of the I mean, I've been trying to look through the entries throughout the time and like them, but I'm going to select winners randomly this weekend, which is going to be already gone, like past when you're watching this, but don't worry, if you're the winner, you've probably been contacted already. This is not affiliated or like has anything to do with YouTube. I'm just mentioning it again. We'll have 3 winners, and they will be picked and contacted to get their shipping information, and so we can get them in contact with our lovely sponsors. But yeah, one of our sponsors sponsored this yarn. It's the Sadness Yarn Duo in the color Kid and Carry. Like I said, the pattern was also was it actually sponsored? I feel like I bought it, but then we got a couple of patterns sponsored to gift to other people, so that's really nice of Cheryl too. Cheryl Mokhtari is the designer of this pattern, and when it came out, I like completely fell in love with it. I knew I wanted to make it. I told my friend Lydia about it, and she was like, well, let's make a knit-along out of it. And then I was like, well, let's do like a public knit-along, right? And then I think I suggested the name, whichever way, like it was a completely collaborative situation, the two of us coming up with ideas, like bouncing them off of each other. I thought it was such a nice thing to do, just 2 knitting friends doing it. And then we contacted some of our favorites, kind of like shops and makers to contribute some gifts to this knit-along, and so many people have taken part in it. I'm so happy about that. So thank you if you did, and yeah, I think this was the summer of stripes, and I do think a lot of people felt like that, so I'm really happy that you guys did, and you guys did enjoy making some stripy projects. With this, what did I want to say about this? Okay, so the duo, especially in quite warm and like high humidity weather, it actually feels a bit scratchy or like prickly, which I wouldn't have thought. I quite like the drape of it. It's a really nice kind of like drapey fabric. I love the colors, but like the feel is not my favorite. It's not bad at all. I just guess I was expecting a bit more, less prickliness. But it's also been the first time I knit with a duo. I still have, I think, 3 or 4 skeins left over of the white color, just a tiny bit of the carry. So we'll see what and if I make something else with it in the future, or if I'm just de-stashing it someday. I did make one tiny mistake. I don't know if you can see that. If you can see it, you probably can't, but in one of the repeats on the arm, on the sleeve, I did do 1 too little white rows. It was just, I had counted them and then picked up for the sleeves and then started like knitting the sleeves after finishing the body. And for some reason, it just messed it up. And then I realized when doing the second sleeve, and I corrected it on the second sleeve, so there's like a tiny mistake in there, but in my opinion you're not really able to see it. And so yeah, overall, I'm really happy with this project. I've been usually wearing it kind of like the first couple of buttons buckled on buttons with something underneath. Like I said, it's a bit prickly, so I like having something underneath, but like I've been wearing a t-shirt, and if it's cold and like not too humid, it's all right. I just feel like the kind of like the fabric, the wool / cotton kind of reacts with humidity, and I felt really prickly with it, which is like when I went out, it was kind of humid, pretty warm, but like also kind of like rainy, and it wasn't the nicest experience. But like that kind of weather isn't the nicest thing to experience after all, but I just feel like that kind of weather just calls for something like 100% cotton. In my opinion, that's just what I prefer. Wool in any case and scenario is just going to be a bit prickly, isn't it? So yeah, I feel like that is something I learned with this project, which is, like I said, completely fine. The yarn was sponsored again. I did not pay for it. I paid for the buttons. I got them at Grene, which is a shop I've kind of mentioned a couple of times. This, I told you guys I like putting in some labels into my knits. So this one says, gentle wash, dry flight, mend if torn. It's by Petite Knit, but like it doesn't say anything about Petite Knit, so I thought it would be okay in a Coco Amore knitwear pattern, because I'm only trying to put in the Petite Knit ones, like the ones where you're able to tell it's Petite Knit, into actual Petite Knit projects, because I feel like everything else, I have a lot of labels from other brands and my own now too, which just say Marlene Knits, which I can put into all my other projects. And I've actually feel like I've knit a variety of things, even though like 3 of my finished objects are Petite Knit, and the next one is no exception. But like coming up, there's going to be more non-Petite Knit stuff. I think my whips, there is no Petite Knit in my whips, which I don't think I should have to like explain myself for that, but I also feel like it's completely like understandable that people might want to see a variety of designers featured in content that they like to watch. I just feel like her patterns are always really easy, and a lot of people knit them, so you have a lot of references for swapping out yarn, and like sizing is always really good. I've never had something I've knit from her like come out really like way too big or way too small. So yeah, I just like her patterns. Another tangent, there might be a couple of them in here because like I have not talked to you guys in a long time, and I feel like I have a lot of things to say. So I hope you have gotten like a drink of your choice, you've gotten cozy on the couch or the bed or wherever you say sitting, and you have a great knitting project with you. That's what I'm kind of like manifesting for you guys. I hope that's the case. So 4th, oh no, they're starting to work back again, even though it's raining. I'm like, do you really want to do that? Okay, I feel like they've maybe just put the crane into a position that they can leave it in. Let's hope it stays quiet. Okay, 4th finished object is actually a micro cowl with my friend Chelsea. It is the Corozo neck, which is this little thing. This is knit up in Merino DK in the colorway Aragon by Long Dog Yarn from the One Collection to Rule Them All. That was a mouthful. And it's held with the Shibui cloud, silk cloud in Love Grass. This was something we actually had intended to just hold it on its own. Let me just like try and put it on without messing up my hair. Okay, you can see my hair is all tucked in it. This might have been a terrible decision because now my hair is like all messed up. But this is how you'll wear it. It's kind of like a, I've heard some people call it like a dicky. I think this is the exact same words Chelsea used. I mean, sometimes you just hear someone say something and it makes so much sense that you say the exact same thing again. I'm not sure, but I think I've also heard people call it that. And it's just kind of like a traditional, if I'm not mistaken, Scandinavian thing, like to put on kids, especially to warm their back and chest to like keep them from getting too cold in the winter. I'm not sure. I'm gonna take it off again and see if my hair is like completely messed up then. I already have unruly hair in the first place, and now I choose to like completely mess it up by putting on my neck. But yeah, it is a neck, chest and back warmer, I would say. It is kind of like a slip over, but it doesn't have any connection under the armpits, and so it's open on the sides. I feel like it's mostly worn with kind of like a trench coat and like a long sleeve underneath. You could also put it over another sweater which does not have a turtleneck. This is my first turtleneck, believe it or not. I do have another turtleneck project planned, but like this is my first, and I really like it. I love the colorway. Obviously it will always remind me of Chelsea. Oh yeah, I was talking about the yarn that we used. We were planning on just using the Merino DK, but we hadn't really thought about gauge. We just thought, yeah, DK is fine, but I think this actually uses Aran or worsted weight. I'm not sure. You can look it up in the pattern on Ravelry. I have everything again linked in my Ravelry notes. But then Chelsea was like, oh well, I just recently bought the Shibui Silk Cloud. It was on sale, and she's like, we might not need much of this. And she's like, I'm happy to share with you, which was so nice of her. And so we hold it with this, which just gives it a bit of like a sheen, but like it's not too light, I would say. And so yeah, this is my terrazzo neck by Petite Knit. I made the smaller of the two sizes, which is small to medium. I think I forgot to say about the other two projects. I think I made size 4, but like it's all going to be linked in my Ravelry project. And I've been putting my bust measurements in my description box too. I think like right at the end. I've heard some people do that, and I've followed that kind of like idea in my last couple of uploads. I just think it might help you guys with understanding like size and reference. I think I have quite a short torso and like longer legs, but like otherwise I'm quite kind of like a curvy mid-sized person. I'm like, I don't know what, like how many feet or inches I am tall, but I think it's 169 centimeters, 1 meter and 69 centimeters, and like some, I'll put it in here. That's how tall I am in inches and feet and whatever the Americans say, right? Okay, that's for finished objects. Let me just check in my notes real quick. I don't want to miss anything, but like I've come up with a template, you guys, and it's just the best thing. I have all my notes in here and I can just reuse it every time. I've also tried to come up with a title before filming, which is not the ideal like order. So far it's called It's Been a While, US Yarn Haul, and lots of progress on my knitting. I don't know if that's going to be the title, but yeah. Episode number 19, coming up with kind of like a template like that was inspired by, and like I said, I always try to tell you guys when something's not like my original idea. Obviously, we're always inspired by what's around us. I'm very much inspired by my friends a lot of the time, but like also Instagram, obviously, like the online knitting community, knitting podcasts that I follow. I always try to tell you guys whichever one like I really enjoy listening to at the moment. And but like if I remember who gave me a certain idea, I will always tell you, because I think that's just great. Credit where credit is due. But like, obviously there's very little original ideas in creative spaces, because like everything's been there before in some way, shape or form, like the Renaissance, you know. I'm not trying to get into that too much, but like having a template in kind of like an Excel spreadsheet. I'm actually using, I think it's Google Sheets. I've seen this on Nitty Natty's channel. She's been talking about how she plans out her episodes, and I've always just taken notes in like a Google Doc, but like putting it in kind of like the format of which direction I'm going, like FOs, whips. Now I'm getting into whips, then acquisitions, personal stuff, future plans, media and stuff like that, and announcements. It just helps me keep that structure. Not that I'm not prone to a good old rant here and there in between, but like, it's trying to help me stay on track, which I'm going to try and do with my first whip. I do have 5 whips, although one of them is like 2 of them are kind of like sleeping on the side, so I don't think I'm going to pull them up and show you. I'm just going to say a quick couple of words about them. I mean, maybe start there. My barber shawl by Gregoria Fibers in Filcolana, Pernilla in Chai. I've worked on this like maybe 10 centimeters, but I made a mistake. It was not the ideal flight project. I realized throughout taking it on the flight, because it was quite dark, and I had memorized the knitting pattern just reading my knitting, and I was reading it correctly, but I had put in a mistake. You have to do like X amount of stitches one way and then put in a, like knitting them and then putting in a pearl and something like that. And I changed it up, and there were like a wrong amount of stitches. And it's like not a big deal, but it's bothering me, and I feel like it'll not stop bothering me, and it's like it's going to continue, because like the striping goes this way, like the long way. And so I've decided, which is not going to be right now because I'm focusing on something else, finishing up something else, but after finishing that, I'm going to, it's a long-term project anyways, and that's okay. But I've decided to put in like a lifeline afterwards, like a afterthought lifeline, and just ripping out to like where I made the mistake and then starting back from there. It's obviously going to erase some of the work I've done on it, but like I'd rather have a more tidy finished object at the end than like finish it quickly. And so I decided on that. The next one is my Corran cardigan by the Creabea Rebecca Clow, and that is in Wooldreamers Mota in a red colorway, which is color 246. I'm actually knitting on the sleeve a bit this morning, but like there's no visible progress, and I will probably just show you when it's done, which I hope it'll be like maybe next or the episode after that. I'm still working on it. I think it's going to be perfect to have it finished sometime in autumn. It's coming up, or it's looking quite tiny, quite small. I hope it'll block out a lot, because it's obviously lace. It's been my first lace project. I've really enjoyed it, and also it's been really tricky for me. But like I said, let me just talk about it when I've got it like finished, because I've got so many other things to talk about. So these are kind of like 2, I wouldn't say UFOs, but like, yeah, they're unfinished projects, but they're not going to be frogged, or not entirely frogged, but they're going to be worked on, and I'm going to try and make them, like finish them as best as I can without any pressure within the next couple of weeks / months. So my first active whip is my Mount Everest project. I just came up with that on the spot. I didn't know how to call it. It's my forever project. It's my, this is going to give me the honor of truly having become an intermediate knitter. I don't know. This is my Marco Polo test knit by the Creabea studio. She asked me if I wanted to test knit this, and I said I gladly would. And have I regretted that a couple of times in the last couple of months? Maybe, but like not because I do not like the project. I love the project, but it's also been a pain. Let me talk about that after showing you guys. It's got a collar. It's got a collar, and I actually like, there is the copy dolls like Kahila and Kalila also are doing this, and I think Kahila's finished. I don't think Kalila is. I'm not sure right now, but yeah. Before going on my vacation to the United States, I finished these double knitted bands, which everything double knitted is done on 2mm needles. I think that's a US size 1. Yeah, it was quite a small needle project, but I've done the collar. When I came back, I mean, I've done the kind of like bands here. When I came back from the US, I did the collar, and then throughout the last week I've done sleeve 1, and I've just finished sleeve 2 yesterday. And now I did do kind of like, I would say it's like 70% of the body. I just have to knit about, I would say 5 to 10 centimeters more on the body, depending on how, I think I want it a bit cropped, but also like not too cropped, obviously. And then there's going to be a split hem put in on both sides. And that's, I think, going to be more double knitting. But like the end is near, and I wasn't really sure if a polo neck was something that suited me before starting this project. So in many ways, this was like a let me try out new things project. But like putting this on after I finished the collar, and then yesterday after finishing both sleeves, I can tell you with like all of my confidence in my body, that is such a beautiful project. It's been a pain just because I'm kind of like impatient person. And so knitting on a project for like over, I think it's been 3 months. It's not been the easiest, obviously also because it's not been very portable. Let me show you the yarn that I'm using. So I've been using these mini cones, which are A, so cute, but B, also so painful. Since I discovered I can put them on these like swivelly wooden things, it's been a bit easier because I just have them sitting on my floor, and yeah, I can just pull from them. Backtracking to the yarn, this is the Unling Everyday Kit in linen and light flax. I've got it with a slight discount, but I still paid for most of it. It was not cheap, but it's also very, very special composition yarn. It has lamb's wool, it has wool, it has cotton, it has cashmere. Did I say linen? I'm not sure, but like it has a very special composition, and I think you can tell just by touching this. This is not going to be a project where you actually really sweat in, I don't think. It is really lightweight, so I think the professional look of these like tiny stitches, I think this will block out a bit. It's just like the double knitting, the edge stitches are just a bit like frilly, I think, but like it'll block out. I really like the design, or like how she constructed the shoulder seams. The double knitting on the sleeve is like kind of frilling out a bit, but I'm going to, after blocking, put in an elastic. I think that's also what the designer suggested. And so yeah, I think it's going to be a perfect staple. I think also this is a really nice kind of like beigey white color that does not wash me out, because it's actually not too warm, but like also not too cold. I don't know if that making sense, but like this makes me so proud. Having made it so far on this project makes me very proud of myself. And like, I know I've moaned a bit about it, which like, it's just because it has been difficult at times, and like if there's a difficult point coming up with the project, I know that I have to have some brain space to do it. And let me tell you, these last couple of months have been crazy up here, also around me. There is actually some live news that I want to share with you guys, but I think I'm still going to wait for next episode. I hate to be like that, but like, I don't feel like I'm ready to share with like publicly. It's actually something really positive, I feel like, but like it's been difficult. So yeah, I did not have many times throughout my weeks where it was like, oh well, let's sit down and knit something I've never done before and which will possibly be really difficult. In the end, it was all really manageable because her writing style and the pattern is great. Like, did I say it's, yeah, I say it Creabea. Her name is Nabita. She's a Danish designer. And yeah, the pattern is great. It has so many details and like finesse to it. I really think if you're ever like, if you're a person that doesn't get as frustrated easily as I am, if you have some time where you're like, I know that I'll be able to focus I know that I'll be able to focus on something new. If you have like a gorgeous fingering weight yarn that you want to knit with, and you're a person that likes really classic, detailed, and like elevated styles, this is going to be for you. You'll have to look out for it when it comes out. I think it's a gorgeous polo neck. You can make it fun too. Like I said, I think the copy dolls, I'm making it with colorful yarn too. So there is so many ways in which you can take this, but also it looks like store-bought in the best way. When it comes to knitting, I feel like I'll have some tiny mistakes like sprinkled in there, which I think you'll be able to tell it's handmade. And if you do not see it's handmade, I will tell you it's handmade, because it took me, and it will take me after all, probably about 4 months to make it. I'm really happy and grateful to the designer to have not put up a ridiculous deadline for this. She's been really like, there's no hard deadline for this from the get-go. I don't know why I thought in the beginning that there was. I've seen a couple of test knits only going for like 4 weeks, and I think that's wrong, especially if you want size inclusivity. You cannot expect someone to knit a garment in 2XL or 3XL in the same amount of time that an XS or S garment will be knit up. There are life circumstances. People are parents, they care for other people that need taken care of. They have jobs, they have I don't know, PMS. There are things in life that keep you from knitting, and knitting, it's not I'm gonna say it, knitting is not the most important thing, even though we all often feel like it. But yeah, I do think having a very short testing period is wrong. It's just my personal opinion. That was the word I was looking for, opinion. I do think most people I would consider testing for, because I like their designs. They have testing periods that are spot on. I wouldn't argue with that. Also, I'm trying not to test too much. She says having applied for another test knit, but whatever. I'm going to finish this within the next 2 weeks, I hope. I'm just going to try and knit on it at least 50 minutes a day, try and finish the body, and then I'm gonna be finished. I'm so excited for it. Like, I'm so proud, happy, and it's been so far a nice experience. I don't know if I'm like been getting on people's nerves in the testing group, because I was like, hey everyone, let's share our progress. I need some motivation. What about you guys? I hope they appreciate that too. I've not done it every week, but like twice maybe in the last couple of months, because like it's been a really quiet test group. I've experienced other tests where it's been a lot more chatting. I don't mind either. If I am not feeling like chatting a lot, I'm just not chatting. And if I feel like it, I'll be the one starting the conversation. So yeah, it's been nice. It's been a really nice testing group, I feel like, even though it's been a more quiet one. Okay, let me show you a new whip. This is, you've not seen this, you've heard me talk about it quite a lot of times, but you've not seen it. This is the Northland sweater by Petite Knit. I didn't think I had any more Petite Knit patterns with me today, but I do. This is a sweater for my partner, Hannes. I've gifted him the yarn for this last year for Christmas. This is Drops Alaska. I think I got him like 16 skeins. Obviously I didn't get it for him to make something with it himself because he does not know how to knit. But like it was I've just fallen into love with knitting, I think like about a year and a month ago, like summer of last year. I've been knitting for about 3 years, give or take, but like fallen in love with it about a year ago. And so I've only had a couple of months before like Christmas hit, and I was like, I am not ready to spend any of my knitting time making a huge garment for a man. So I only made him this like tiny mini sweater. If you've been here like that long, leave a knitting, like the knitting ball of yarn sticker in the comment section, because I feel like if you've been here since last December, you're the best. You're the best either way, but like that would be so fun if you've been here that long. I've actually planned on making something else. I have the swatch somewhere here. It was like a basket weave stitch, something like that, basket stitch. And I was like, why do I have to make life difficult for myself? I just want to make him a really easy first sweater. And then I can, like, from then on, the next sweater I'm actually planning for him is like an all over cabled sweater. So I thought like, maybe I'll start with a stockinette sweater, also get his sizing right, like something like that. I'm actually so far quite happy with what I'm doing. I'm knitting the Northland sweater by Petite Knit in size 3. So this is the medium. This doesn't actually have a lot of positive ease. I think it's supposed to be like 10 centimeters, which is a bit more than 3-4 inches, something like that. I've actually made a modification already. I've held the button band double. I've actually made it too tight, so I had to reopen it, bound off loosely, and then whip stitched it together. Put in like a purl row, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave it at that, so that's why it's a bit messy here. I'm gonna clean that up. But also, I don't know if you can tell, but this is like a saddle shoulder construction, which looks quite nice, no problems there, but it bunches quite a lot here in this kind of like area. And it's also exactly where his collarbone, like where anyone's collarbone would be sitting. So I've looked on Ravelry, and I feel like some people have had this problem. It doesn't have to be a problem. I will see if it blocks out. So I'm going to knit the whole thing. I'm going to block it, see when he's wearing it, if it's something that bothers me. I just feel like I'll have to kind of like block out the shoulder a bit and see if that helps. Otherwise, it could be the case that my pickup for the collar is just a bit too like cinching it in, and therefore the fabric is kind of like bunching up here, if you get what I'm trying to say. And so there would be a possible scenario in which I open this back up and just make a single collar without folding it. I hope that's kind of, yeah, I guess I'm trying, like, I'm explaining it the best way I know. And I hope you get what I'm trying to say. But like, this is a really easy kind of like petite knit. I don't know if it's like Aran weight, worsted weight, something like that pattern. And so I feel like it's going to be a great first sweater. I'm not in any rush finishing it. It's still going to be something that he's probably going to be wearing in autumn and winter. And like I said, I'm planning on gifting him another sweater quantity this Christmas and then knitting it hopefully in January of next year, because I've already got kind of like a micro cowl with my 2 best friends planned for it. And so yeah, let's see. That's going to be in my acquisitions because I actually got the yarn in the US for it. My next project is only kind of like a half finished project and a tiny bit of progress in the second one, which is a sock. I've been really craving more sock knitting and haven't allowed myself to cast anything new on because I already have my Marco Polo on like these tiny ass needles, which means if I would cast on something new, like a sock, I felt like I wouldn't go back and knit on my Marco Polo as much, and that would have been not an ideal scenario because I want to get that done. And so in my new, which is kind of like part of my acquisition already, my new favorite knitting project bag. It's so cute. It's by Knitting Nelly. The lengths I went to get this, and like the lengths she went to get it to me, it's ridiculous, to be quite honest. But like, also if you look at it, you get why, right? So I paid a lot of money for shipping. And so the projects in here, let me show you the first finished sock. It's this sock I made from a sock set I got in Bright Net Yak. It's by Beehive Yarn. This is the colorway Bellini. It had 3 minis, this kind of like champagne white, this kind of like rust brown, and another coral, which I have not used for these. It's just going to go into my scrappy blanket. It's just going to be a bigger stripe, I guess. And yeah, this is the sock. I gotta tell you a couple of things about this sock. I do not love it. It's been kind of like a try a couple of new things sock. First of all, I made this on 2.25mm needles, whereas I usually knit my socks on 2.5mm needles. I am not yet sure which option I prefer. I think obviously I prefer knitting with 2.5. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying obviously. I think I do, but I'm not sure. I've also, I feel like this is a hand puppet. I've also tested a new to me heel. This is the Fish Lips Kiss heel. A lot of people have tried this, recently talked about it, most prominently Nitty Natty and my friend Benicia from the Woolly Worker. And I've also tried doing kind of like an ergonomic heel. So this is another, not heel, toe. There's another thing where I kind of tried something new with this, which is also inspired by Nitty Natty. So the heel and toe, I don't think I messed up too much. There is a bit of, like at that point, it could be a bit, especially you can tell here, it could be a bit neater. But the one thing where I feel like I didn't do the best job, or like it's been my favorite sock so far, is I don't enjoy a very narrow cuff. And I really wanted to try some like sporty, stripy sock. I really like seeing them in a lot of Summer Lee sock designs. And I just really wanted to try them. I mean, looking at them now, they're fine, they're cute. Mistakes like this, I feel like I could double stitch over it, like do a brown stitch over it, or just like try from the inside, like pulling it to the inside. And either way, I think that's the inside. No one's gonna look as closely to like on your feet and see mistakes like this. But I just feel like I'm not the biggest fan of this part. And also there's a lot going on, like it has contrast everything, I feel like. So yeah, but I thought I'm not gonna rip it out because like it's a perfectly fine sock. It's not my favorite sock, but like I'll wear through some of my socks eventually, and like I've already spent time on this sock. I've also knitted it in like a very special time a couple of weeks back, couple of special days where I knitted on it a lot. And so I feel like I don't want to rip it out. And so I just did that yesterday. I started my second one just to have something going when my Marco Polo is finished. I just feel like I would want to decide either on making some contrast heel, cuff, toe, whatever, and stripes. I feel like I don't need both. I just feel that's a bit too much for me. Don't know why. Maybe that's very sensitive and like over critical. I just felt like recently I've been liking the most easy socks. I can actually show you guys my one of my favorite socks I've finished recently is actually not for me, and this makes me just like think about I should make more of these. This is for my mom. It's her birthday in like 2 weeks, and so I'm so happy to have finished these weeks ago. And I just feel this is one of my favorite constructions. I don't need an ergonomic toe per se. I can just do the like repeats as I know them and have memorized them. I like a heel flap and gusset the most, and I don't really love contrast colors on this. I would rather prefer having contrast cuff and toe, but also I love having no contrast at all. I'm actually wearing some socks, can you tell? I like just hand-dyed yarn all over texture. I love the like Hermione's everyday sock. I have a lot of socks that I want to try out within the next couple of months, and they're going to be included in my autumn knits plans, autumn 2023 knitting plans kind of video, which is coming up next. And so yeah, I just feel like I prefer these, and that's a kind of a great learning about myself. And so let's get into my haul. This is the biggest acquisition I think I've ever done, ever. And so let's try to get through it, okay? I hope I don't forget anything. Let's start with something that I got in our new local knitting shop, which is called Strickverliebt. I've been there a couple of times recently, and I've been eyeing up something local too, which is a brand that is actually no longer in production at the moment. I think they're changing up something. Maybe they'll come back with like a new setup, but so far, like right now, they're not in production anymore. And it's called Raincloud and Sage. Her name, like the women behind the brand, her name's called Ruth, I think. And this is the Unpun, and it's turning local wool into yarn for makers is their logo in a way. And it's this. I've actually got 4 plates of this, but I cannot hold all of them. And so I'm just showing the 2. I'm going to hold this double. This was 16 euros a plate. Like I said, I got 4, which I think is a great price for a cardigan, which I'm going to make with this. If you've watched my videos for any amount of time, I think last year I was speaking about my cardigan plans, and I've been talking about the Traveler's cardigan quite a lot. I wanted to get some Wooldreamers or some sort of unspun yarn, but when I came across this, which first of all, is a gorgeous kind of like charcoaly, very dark gray, which I think is going to be a great jacket, coat slash cardigan. I really liked it, and also it has kind of like a local connection. It's a really special yarn, and so yeah, I'm going to hold this double for the Charles cardigan, and I really like it. I think it's a great price for what it is. Like I said, I think it's only going to be around 60 euros for a cardigan, which I think is great. So the next thing that arrived before I was actually going to the US, but I couldn't show you guys, is in this package. It's the Merino by Kremke Solvo. It's their newest base, and maybe I'll show you just like these two right there. This is also GOTS certified, which means it's an organic. There's like a textile standard that they hold themselves to. This is color 03, and it's a 140 meters to 50 grams. So it's a 280 meters per 100 grams. So it's a DK weight. I got 2 510 skeins of this, which is about 500 grams, which will be a great quantity for sweater for me, or even maybe a cardigan. Like I said, I don't have any plans. Sorry if this wasn't clear. This was gifted to me by Kremke. I've worked with them before, but I've also bought from them many a times with my own money. And so yeah, I got that as they were launching this new yarn, and I'm excited to see what I'll make with it. Like I said, I've had some plans. I wanted to make the Mia sweater by Coco More Knitwear, and I actually bought that pattern too when it was on sale. She had like a store sale. So I have that, but also it's not like very high up on my list, and you will see that I have a couple of things that are really high up on my list, and so I feel like, yeah, it'll probably not be a very soon to be cast on thing, but also I'm looking forward to knit with it. I think it's a gorgeous kind of like mauvey color. I'm not sure if it's the perfect color for me and my complexion. In general, that like type of kind of like color family, but I think that this one has enough brown tones, and I could be holding it with another more browny caramel mohair or surrey to make it even more working, to make it work more with my complexion and hair, and like low contrast. I think I am. No, high contrast. Yeah, I think I'm quite high contrast. Yeah. So if you can tell, I'm a bit overwhelmed, and so I'm kind of like procrastinating taking up the things. Let me go with this again next. Not yet getting into the US haul. This is actually a gift my friend brought to me for me from Scotland. This is Kinross 4-ply by We County Yarns, and this is the color Otter. And this, I think, is a very special gift because it meant that she had very closely listened to what I said weeks and months ago when I was like, oh, I really would like to, because like the Creabea had talked about it, that it's like if you wash this, it's like cashmere. I think it's actually wool, but it feels like it's very soft when you wash it. And she, I think, has like done a really great job color matching me and like finding a color that I really would enjoy. I will just need to get a couple more of these because I do not really intend to make any accessories with this. I feel like I could be swatching with this, and then maybe already mentioned her once in this video before, but Vanessa from the Woolly Worker, she had once suggested that we can also, because I think it was whenever I was swapping yarn with Chelsea, I think like really at the beginning of this year, she was like, we could also do that someday with like German and or European and UK wool. And I think so she has a great accessibility of this. So maybe we'll do a swap one day, or she can just like get some skeins for me and I'll pay her for it. Or, and that would be ideal, I'll get to Scotland one day and get some myself, because like I really want to go to Scotland, specifically Edinburgh and the Highlands and Isle of Skye, and all of these areas have been on my wish list for a long time. And it really doesn't help that my friend Lydia is kind of like very often been going there. I feel like she's been there a couple of times since we gotten to know each other, and I'm always a bit jealous of her very beautiful trips. She's going to be a great person to ask about trip recommendations. And so yeah, I really hope we'll be able to go one day. We actually thought about going this year, but I've already spent so much money on traveling this year, and Edinburgh would have been so much more expensive than Copenhagen, which is our destination. Kind of like I wanted to go on a trip with my friend Emma too, and like I said, we looked into going to Edinburgh, but it was just very expensive, and so we landed on Copenhagen, which was a lot more affordable. And so yeah, story time over. I feel like, oh my god, I've been talking for ages. Let's get through more of the stuff that I got. Next up is something I'm not sure I'm going to keep because of the color. This was an Oopsie sale by County Yarns I did with Chelsea. We ordered it before I got to the US. She waited opening them. We thought we'd like ordered 8 single skeins of fun yarns. Our description, like our show notes, were warm neutrals, autumnal. I don't know what we said, like, oh, and we loved Autumn in New York collection. So we said a couple of things, and then we loved Autumn in New York, no Disney. Because like that's not so much our colorways, but like Sorella asked people that were ordering to make pretty specific notes so she could match us with the yarn. And we thought we were ordering 2 packs of 4 skeins. Turns out when we opened them, we had gotten 2 sweater quantities, which like in theory is such a great deal, because you only pay, I think it's $80 for the, let me get it. It's in plastic, so I don't know if you're able to see it, but I scanned one up. And this is actually what I got from it. The closest thing to an actual colorway that she has to this would be Speakeasy, which is from the Autumn in New York collection. Chelsea has kept the one that is newsprint, I think, also Autumn in New York collection, but she's also already made a sweater with the exact same yarn, just in a different base. And so she's also selling hers. Now, I think, and I've been told, I can wear blue. As a teenager, I've worn blue a lot. But like just recently, I know you guys know my colorways. I'm like an autumnal, rusty, greeny, beigey, browny, grayish wearing person. And so this is like not the first thing I would go for. But like also I feel like it depends on the light. It's a really gorgeous color. There's some purple in it, which is probably the thing that's like making me not want to knit with it, but like also it has a very dark blue. I mean, you guys will have to tell me what you think about this, because like I'm close to just like putting it on my Ravelry D-stash and like selling it if someone's interested. But like also be honest, do you think this suits me? Because I'm like half there. I'm like, yeah, maybe I would want a sweater. And yeah, it was at a discounted price. It's closest to Sorella Speakeasy from the Autumn in New York collection, but it's kind of like an Oopsie. I have 400 grams. I made the tiniest swatch with this, but like usually skeins weigh, like hand-dyed skeins weigh more than 100 grams. That's actually a great tip. You should always weigh your skeins before. We did that with the Aragon and there were like 10 grams extra on that hank. And it happened a lot. It happens with exfoliants and fibers. I've got like 10 grams extra on each of my skeins. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing with Cirrella, that it's just a bit more, right? And so I'm still pretty sure I've got 400 plus grams here. And like, do you think that'll suit me? Should I sell it? This is the only thing I'm not sure about in this kind of like haul. There's actually another sweater quantity of Surrey that I've put on my to sell tab on my Ravelry, just because I've made also the tiniest swatch, like half swatch with it, and just realized it's not my color. It's really cold, kind of like rosé. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's here, I think. I was really excited to work with it. It's the vintage Surrey by Phoebe and Mercy yarns, but like it's just not my colors. So I'll be happy to sell it for like a slightly reduced price. It's actually not that expensive, so I think I'd be able to sell it for like $70, including shipping in Germany, I think, or even a bit less. But I'd be happy to send it further if you'd be happy to pay for shipping. It's 3 skeins of Surrey, so sweater quantity for most sizes, I would say. But yeah, this is not a D-stash. Keep it together, Marlene. There is so much to show you guys. This is one of 2 baskets full of yarn and stuff. So let's get through it. La Mercerie. Bainbridge Island, La Mercerie. I got these labels by Kylie and the Machine. They say hands, needles, yarn. And I got them at the store. I really like them. I've already put them in one of my sweaters. Pretty cute. The next thing that I got, I did not get with like an intention in mind, and it'll maybe come back to like bite me in the ass because maybe I have one too little. It's buttons. I hope you'll be able to see them. They have like these kind of backs. I got 5, maybe I should have gotten 6. They're quite small, so I'm not sure if they'll be something rather to put like with a Henley style neckline, because I feel like they would be quite tiny for an adult sized cardigan. But like I just like collecting buttons, so I don't feel like I should be too hard on myself, having spent like a couple of dollars for some buttons that I just love the look of. Okay, so the next thing I got at La Mercerie was this Ritual Dyes Maven, which is climate beneficial 2-ply fingering weight, US grown and milled Rambouillet wool. I got 2 skeins of the 50 gram in the colorway Chestnut. These were actually in the sales section, and I can show you what I was thinking on making with this. Is actually I got this Diamond Lane, just the Birdie by Lament Kit. We also went to Lament Kit, but I didn't get anything there. And this is the Alpaca Silk. And I was just thinking that this could make a really cute shawl. I've made a couple of shawls before, and I'm also someone that likes to wear like cotton shawls, kind of like the baby cloth kind of style. What's the name? Yeah, not sure. And it's not an exact kind of like fit, but I think the kind of like orangey, like burnt orange, will complement the red quite nicely. Like I said, this is not something I'm planning on making right away. I've actually been looking out for shawl patterns when I was at Flock. I've taken a couple of pictures of like samples that were at the booth. Maybe I'll share some here, but like also I'm just going to keep it in mind and eventually hope to make a shawl out of this. This is not kind of like with the intention of having a set pattern, which most of the other projects or most of the other yarns I got have like a set project in mind. But this is more of like this will be a shawl, and I don't know which one yet. But yeah, I really love the color, and I'm happy I got that for like on sale too. The next thing I got was for a dad sweater by Emily Curtis, who's Gently Chaotic Knits on here. I met her in person for the first time, and now we're knitting friends, I guess. We spent some time before and during Flock, and I've been eyeing up her dad sweaters since she released it, or since before she's released it, but haven't had like the perfect yarn in mind. But then my friend Chelsea made it. It's gorgeous. I tried hers on. I saw Emily wear her version and I was like, yeah, it's clearly I'll have to make it. And so I got this beautiful gray color. And this is actually extra special because Emily helped me pick out the yarn for her pattern. And this is a shop exclusive yarn. This is Ampersand Fibers. It's the Jenson DK. It is 100% US Cordale. So I've gotten some Rambouillet, I've gotten some Cordale. I'm trying to not only knit with Merino, now just try out some other things. This is DK weight, like it says. Ampersand Fibers is exclusive to shop La Mercerie, or La Mercerie, or is their wool, I guess. And this is Grisaille 01, the colorway 01. And this is a sweater quantity for a dad's sweater by Emily Curtis. And I'm so excited to knit this. I hope this is going to be a winter project for me, and I'm going to cast it on maybe in November or December. It's on my fall knitting like plans, the wish list, but like further down, because I have a couple of other projects that I want to make before that. But like I could cast this on today. I'd be happy to cast it on today, but I'm trying with my fall knitting plans to be like light, dark, old stash, new stash, like mixing it up. Let's see how well that goes. And you wouldn't want to see the chaos around me right now. But yeah, that's everything I got at Shop La Mercerie. Moving on to some stuff I got at the big box store. We went to Michael's and JoAnns, and I got some single skeins for possible hat knits, some gift knits, or maybe hats for myself. This is the Wool Ease by Lionbrand. This is 100%, no, it's 80% acrylic, 20% wool. I've not really knit with acrylic before, so I'm interested to see how this knits up. And I also got some Heartland by Lionbrand, and this is 100% acrylic, if I'm not mistaken. I really just love the colors, and like I said, I'm interested to see how it knits up. Maybe this will be a great present for kind of like a wool sensitive person in my family, but also like I would like having all of these. So let's see how many gifts I'll make and how many of those will become hats for myself. But I got some more hat knitting. I think I've got like 2 green hats planned already, so I should be fine on hats, and I should be making some gift knit hats. There's so much yarn here. Like I said, you guys, this was an extra special, very acquisition heavy time, and it's not going to be like that coming up. I've not put up like a shopping ban, because obviously I'm going to Copenhagen. I would want to get maybe some local yarn, and like I'm not banning myself from shopping. Like, how would you say, like, but yeah, I'm not planning on getting any more yarn. There is another thing coming in because I wasn't able to get it at Flock, so I did the pre-order and I just got the notification that it's shipped, and I'm going to show you in the next episode hopefully. But yeah, moving on with my Lionbrand. This is actually the Fishermann's wool. So the only brand that I got at the big box store was Lionbrand, but this is the huge skein of Fishermann's wool. I've got 4 skeins of this. This is going to be for Hannes. This is going to be one of his Christmas Christmas gifts. And I'm going to make a sweater for him in this. I hope I've got enough. It says like 425 meters, which would mean it's 850, which would mean it's 1,600 meters for like 4 skeins should be fine. Because like it says you should have 7 skeins for a sweater, which I'm like, that would be so much yardage. I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine. We did the math when we're at JoAnns, I think. So yeah, I got it in this beautiful oatmeal colorway. And I'm planning to make a Moby sweater man with this. Like I said, I'm progressively stepping into more difficult patterns, also with gift knitting, and I really hope it's going to work out. I know he's going to appreciate it. I know it's going to be worth making that for him, because like it's going to be also perfectly oversized for me to wear it. Maybe sometimes steal it. But yeah, it's going to be such a special project which you are not going to make every year, I feel like, but I want to try it. And because my friends also thought about making the Moby sweater, I don't know if they'll make the Moby sweater specifically, but like thinking about making like a cabled fisherman style sweater too. Lydia and Emma, we're thinking about doing kind of like just the 3 of us doing a cow in January. Doesn't mean that you could also knit along with us, but like it's not going to be an official make along. But we have something planned for December, Lydia and I. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. It'll be something to do with knitting, obviously. But you could also crochet or make something else. I'm not going to say any more. It's not even autumn yet. It's just coming up to be autumn. So yeah, this is going to be a gift for my partner, and I'm going to gift it to him for Christmas, and then I'm going to make it in the new year. So the next shop that we went to a couple of shops where I didn't get anything, but the Tea Cozy yarn shop in Ballard, I hope I'm saying that right, in Seattle was one of the best yarn shops I've ever been to. I really highly recommend it. It's been highly recommended to us. I think Chelsea's been there before, but like other people have told me when I was like, I'm going to Seattle. I think Anna told me. The one thing I got there, which was not on sale, everything else I got on sale, was the Cascades Heathers 220. And it's this gorgeous coal black heathered color. You guys, these colors are all making me so happy, and I know for someone else they would make them probably really sad because like it's not very colorful. I get that. Like I'm all here for people dressing like the freaking rainbow or like a fairy tale, I don't know, fairy castle land, but it's not me. And I'm okay with that. But like, yeah, this very heathered brown, gray, black is making me very happy. And this is actually going to be, hopefully, an Amy slipover. I've been recently acquiring quite a lot of Sendus Garn pattern magazines. I just love having a good like coffee table book, but like also coffee table magazine. And so I've been collecting quite a lot of magazines recently. I've got some Line, some BC Garn, which have quite a lot of nice stuff in there. And obviously also the Sandnes Garden ones. One of my favorite online shops, which is also Soul Wool, Kremke Soul Wool. They offer them, they sell them, and because I've been getting some of the perfect Sandnes Garden perfect for some sock knitting for Christmas, I've also been getting a couple of the magazines and bought them. And yeah, one of the patterns, I'm not going to get up and get it, but like I'm going to put in a picture here. Knitting Traditions, Inga has made this. She's been like the kind of like inspiration for me to get these Sandnes Garden booklets / magazines too. And she made it, I think, in an unspun yarn. This is not unspun. I think this is worsted weight. Yeah, so this is 200 meters for 100 grams. And the pattern, I think, calls for fingering plus lace. So more of a DK weight. So this is a bit thicker, I think, more lofty and thick. I hope I'm not saying something really stupid right now. But I've seen a project on Ravelry using this exact same yarn. And this has been the first time for me getting in contact with a person on Ravelry and being like, would you mind sharing your notes on this project with me? Because she didn't have a lot of project notes, like not very detailed. Like I knew she used this, I know how much she used and stuff like that. And she was so kind and went back into her notes and like sent them to me. She's like, I don't know if this makes much sense, but if it helps you, I'm so happy to, if you want to knit this too, happy knitting. And this was really, really kind of her. And so I'll be trying knitting this with like the adjusted stitch count that she had done. So yeah, this is a new venture for me, trying something with like a completely different gauge. I've not been the best student in school when it came to maths, so it's not my forte, it's not my strength. But when it comes to knitting, I feel like I can do it because it has like the causes a different, it's for a good cause, right? Doing some math for knitting. And her notes have massively helped me. So I'm really looking forward to making the Amy's, I hope I'm saying it right. I hope it's Amy Slipover, pretty sure. It has a nice turtleneck construction, and it's basically like the neck I just showed you, but it has a belt kind of like, or like it connects underneath the arms with some cords, not cords, but like double knitted bands. Yeah. Okay, moving along. I feel like we're doing great. I hope we're like at the end going to not go over like an hour, 20 minutes. That should be good. The next thing that I got were 3 quantities of yarn from the sales section. The Tea Cozy has an amazing sales section. And these I'm thinking I'm going to use for accessory gift knitting for this winter or the upcoming next cold season. And they're just some yarns that I wanted to knit with for some time. There are brands I wanted to check out, and that's why I got them. And the reduced price really helped. So the first one of the 2 skein quantities that I got is the Andorra by Kelbourne Woolens. This is a merino wool, highland wool, and mohair blend. And it's in this beautiful blue color. These are 50 gram skeins, and so this will be 100 grams, which is a bit over 220 meters. I hope this will be enough for a hat. What I'm actually thinking about doing, because I really like the color, is making a cowl with this. I feel like the merino is like 60%, 20% highland wool, and 20% mohair. I think the composition would be a great cowl, because it does have the highland wool, which makes it a bit more sturdy and yeah, I would say kind of rustic too, but it's only 20%. Merino is quite soft, and the mohair is making it even a bit fluffy. And I think it's going to be a great cowl. And I'm thinking to give this, if I'm knitting it, after I've knitted. I'm thinking about gifting it to my brother, which I think is going to be really special. I've actually found a cowl, really simple. I think it was even a free PDF download on Ravelry. It's by Kay Litton, who's the crazy sock lady. And I think she's made a cowl for her partner. I think it's called the Eric cowl. Yeah. And I think that would look great. My brother's also, has a light complexion. I think he tans quite easily in the summer, but also he's blonde. He's like 2 meters tall and like really slender. And he's, like I said, he's also blonde. He looks similar to me. He's my brother. And I think this blue would look really nice with him, which like makes a great point of me, like, I should maybe keep the blue wool and like make something with it. I don't know. So this is a cowl quantity for my brother. Next thing I got was the Brooklyn Tweed Arbor, which is 100% American Targy wool. And this is in this gorgeous chocolate brown. It's honestly like a dark chocolate, like a very high cacao percentage. This is the colorway Loam. This was also in the sales section. Like I said, it's a DK weight, so it has about 300 yards, I think. This is both 50 grams. It's also, like I said, 100% American Targy wool. And I've tried Brooklyn Tweed before with my the Brooklyn Tweed Loft in Fosso, which I used for my April cardigan, and I really liked knitting with it. And yeah, I just couldn't resist. It was in the sales section. It was a great price. And that's probably going to be hat, right? It's a beautiful dark brown. It'll look great on a lot of people that I know. So whoever gets it will be a very lucky person, I feel like. The last thing I got from the Tea Cozy yarn shop sales section is this Quince & Co. Owlet in the colorway Albertine. This is a lace weight, 240 yards for 50 grams, and it's American wool and alpaca 50-50. And I also got 2 skeins. And this beautiful, it almost looks like singles, maybe it is singles. The way in which it is spun, it looks like it's single. Like I said, it's a lace weight, so I have 440 meters right here. This also was slightly discounted, and I really wanted to try and use Quince & Co. And what I'm thinking about making with this, because this is a lace / light fingering weight, is maybe holding it double and making some penny gloves with this. I feel like I could get 2 pairs of penny gloves out of this. I could hold it also with another. I've got some of my Explore Knits and Fibers Petrichor Surrey left. That is a lot lighter than this, but this could also mean that it marks quite nicely. I don't know yet. I also have quite a lot of just like mohair Surrey scraps. And so this is going to be something. Like I said, these like last 6 skeins were just at a really great price point. I wanted to try out or use some more of these brands that are American based, and so I couldn't easily get them in Germany. And yeah, I just think this is really nice and soft because like of the 50% alpaca, and also the wool is really nice wool. I don't know. So I think this would make beautiful penny gloves, maybe to gift. Yeah. Okay, that's it about the sales section at the Tea Cozy. The next thing, we went to Wild Fibers in Mount Vernon, and this is actually a knitting needle gauge that Chelsea got me as like a kind of like a little Washington like local kind of like little knitting gift. It's by Cotrinkles, and it says Washington Evergreen State Knitting, and it's the the shape of Washington State, and it has knitting needle gauge. I feel like this is something that I have already got 2 versions of, and I was very tempted to get another one in the US because it's just so cute, and it's like, this is also going to be a memory thing, right? I mean, this one she got for me, but I feel like you can have too many of these things. So I didn't get the second one. That was just very aesthetic, but not very, it wouldn't have meant anything in like a local memory way than this had. And now that I have 3 of these, I have enough. The other one that I have has like a ruler at the other end too, which is also quite practical. I feel like this is mostly going to be for looking at, which is also nice. And the one thing that I loved, like one of the things I loved most about the Pacific Northwest were the evergreens, and Washington being called the evergreen state is like so cute to me. I don't know, I just love it. So thanks, Chelsea, for getting this for me. And yeah, now there's 2 more purchases from Pearl Soho. This was actually one of the things that I pre-ordered to be delivered to Chelsea's house. These are going to also be some of my upcoming autumn knitting plans, but I'm going to talk more about that in my upcoming video because I feel like I've talked enough already. I have 2 other like pre-orders which are so exciting, and so I hope you're still watching. But like, this is the good wool in a beautiful brown color. This is 100% Andean Highland wool, and this is color 9040 Hickory Nut. I think this is undyed, which is so nice. I know I've shown quite a lot of brown stuff, but I just think it suits me, and even if it didn't, I really like brown. This is going to be a traveler hoodie without the hood, so a traveler crew neck by Andrea Mowry. Like I said, I'm going to be talking more about this in my next video, but I really wanted to try out Pearl Soho, and so I did get a couple of things. They were just having a sale when I ordered from them, which was really nice. So I was able to save some money on these 2 purchases. This next purchase is something that I wanted to try for a long time too, because a lot of people have been talking about it. This is the linen quill by Pearl Soho. This is 50% fine Highland wool, 35% alpaca, and 15% linen. And this is, of course, in the color Oatmeal. I'm very known to love an oatmeal color. This looks like it's a 2-ply. The things I'm noticing now that I've done some drop spindling are very interesting to me. And these are 4 skeins. I think I got 5 or 6 skeins of the good wool. And this is actually going to be a clematis sweater by my friend Emma. Emma Maya. That is actually her first design, which is like blowing my mind, but on the other hand, it's not blowing my mind because she's like just very much awesome, like very broadly talented. She's one of those people who can do a lot of things to the point where it's like unfair that she's so great to other people who are not as gifted. No, but like honestly, the fact that this is her first design, mind-boggling to me. It's been inspired by like I don't want to say high like haute couture, but like by like very fancy fashion in a way, but also it's like very straightforward. Whatever, I'm going to talk about it in my autumn knitting plans because it's also something I'm planning to knit with quite soon. I'm planning on holding it with my Surrey cone that I have from Woolly Yarns, I think it's called. So yeah, beautiful oatmeal color. So happy with this. The Pearl Soho, I had actually already ordered, I think in March or something, when it was clear that we were planning this trip. I had been ordering stuff to Chelsea's house, and she really kindly had like a private little post office station in her in her family's house for me to like look at all the things. And when I came there, it was actually like a kid on Christmas. So yeah, thank you so much for keeping all my stuff for me, Chelsea. And yeah, these two projects I've been planning on making for a long time. So looking forward to making them. I think I have 4 last skeins and they're all sock sets. I've actually already put them on my yarny board and now I had to take them off there. Little preview. They're all so great. I don't know where to start, but it's the last thing that I'm going to talk to you guys about and then I'll let you go. I wanted something from the collection, one collection to rule them all. Like I said, we had planned this mini cowl, making the terrazzo neck with the argan color. Way, I don't know how it came about. One of us suggested it. We planned it. We got the yarn. We went with it. But I also was like, I want more of the colors. I really want more of this collection. It is one of the greatest collection, I think, of all times. She's done an amazing job. And Chelsea was so kind to order some more stuff for me. Obviously sent her the money for it. But yeah, I got 2 sock sets. This is Shortcut to Mushrooms with Sunrise. And this is Deep Breath Before the Plunge. Is always such a long name and I always forget. And this is, I think it's Gandalf. I would have to look it up again, but it's also linked in my Ravelry stash. But yeah, I got the Shortcut to Mushrooms and the Deep Plunge before the Deep Breath Before the Plunge. Always mix it up. These 2 colorways and I love them. I don't know yet what I'm going to make with them. I've got some sock projects assigned to them, so my queue. These could also become some socks for Hannes eventually, like maybe next year. I just think I would be able to still look at them. He is like a huge Lord of the Rings fan. We both are, like we're reading the books together. Every year we're watching the movies. It's something that connects us too. And so I think it would be so great for me to have a sock and for him to have one. But this is so far in the future. You guys see how much yarn I have to work with. So this is not something that's going to be cast on immediately, because there's also been another pre-order that I ordered from. I think it's actually been an in-stock update. But this is a brand I wanted to get something like yarn from for like since becoming a knitter and hearing from them for the first time. I think she's the queen of most stunning neutrals and speckled yarn, and I'm obviously talking about Coast to Coast Yarn Co. And these 2 might be some of my favorite things I got in the last 6 months. This is Red Panda sock set with Gothic House with Secrets mini. How stunning is this? And this is Potato Soup sock set with the Leek mini. Also one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen in my life. These are 2 of my favorite sock sets ever. And I'm so excited to make socks with them. I feel ridiculous being this emotional over sock sets, but like also Erin, you're my queen. This, I think like Coast to Coast, this is the first time I've gotten yarn from her. I really want the vinyl sticker so bad for my ice flow like water cup. Oh, by the way, I should drink some water. I'm really dry throat from like talking so much, but like I feel like these colorways might be some of my favorites. And I've seen the twins, those twins who knit, who are Rachel and Jessica, knit Samali Knits Design, who's one of my favorite sock knitting pattern designers, in this. And I think I might just shamelessly copy them. I think they copied Erin, who made a sample for the soup collection. And so I think we'll all just have this sock set because it's like, it's gorgeous. And with this, even though I love this like special colorway, I just feel like I want this to shine. I'll maybe just put in like a highlight cuff. Like I said, I'll talk more about my plans. This is just a acquisition, stash enhancement. I'm surrounded by yarn. I'm in heaven. I should be wrapping up this video momentarily because it's been some time. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope I haven't been too rambly. If you do not enjoy acquisitions, I'm so sorry. This is a one-off thing, I promise. But also I shouldn't be apologizing for it because like I saved a lot of money to get all of this. Like I said, I ordered a lot of stuff throughout the first 7 months of this year. And yeah, I've been earning a lot more from my university job than I have before when I was still a student. And so yeah, I hope you guys understand. I'm really not trying to show off in any form, shape or way. And I'm very much thankful. I appreciate you guys. I hope I mentioned everything. If I did not, I'm very sorry. I'm trying to remember next time to speak about the things that I did forget, because yeah, it'll always happen. Me forgetting stuff, I guess. Okay, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't to the channel. I just recently realized I've not been subscribed to some of the channels. I've been like watching all of the videos, like each and every single video, and I just realized I had forgotten to subscribe. And then I had to subscribe, which was, I'm like, I've been watching all of your stuff for months, but like, now I'm subscribing. So if that's you, please feel free. I think we're at like 5,000 people on this channel who are watching. Thank you so much. It's really special. I love you guys. And that maybe sounds weird because like, I don't know a lot of you guys, but I've met a couple of you at vlog. And from that, I know that I love you guys. Because like, I want to be friends with the people that I met. And that just makes sense for y'all to be a lovely bunch of people. Thank you so much for listening. I'm stopping the rambling now. I'm going to film, like I said, an autumn plans within the next week. I hope to be uploading this shortly after uploading the second vlog. I hope you guys been enjoying the content I've been putting up and out. Please go tell me in the comment section down below what you've been working on while listening to this video, and I'll see you next time. I hope you all are well and taking care of yourselves, and happy knitting. Bye. Okay, just watch me tell you how great my notes are and then completely forgetting about shows, films, books at the end of this episode. So if you guys enjoy that kind of content, please keep watching for a couple more minutes. I felt like I felt a bit rushed at the end of this episode, which tends to happen if I haven't filmed in a long time and I have like a trillion finished objects, whips, and especially all of those acquisitions. I wanted to talk about a couple of films that I watched and really enjoyed, and also about a show that I watched because of a fellow knitter, Kylie from Paisley Knits, has been talking about and actually creating a whole hand-dyed yarn collection about Heartstopper. And I have to admit, I've not been one of the people that has watched it from the get-go or has been into it from the get-go, but I, this week, on one day, started watching it and watched 2 seasons in one day. I stopped watching at like 3 o'clock in the nighttime. I was just so captivated by this series and I really, really loved it. I don't have much more to say about that. I just wanted to say I'm a Heartstopper girly now, apparently. Really loved it. Thanks for the recommendation again, Kylie. And yeah, some films that I watched, especially on the flight to and from Seattle, were The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants which was yours truly, Chile Knits, Chelsea's recommendation. Heard about it. I felt like I had watched it before, but now that I've seen it, I don't think I have. But I would say it's a classic. Really great movie. Really enjoyed watching it. Obviously also had to watch Sleepless in Seattle, which was also recommended by Chelsea, but also kind of like a no-brainer. She's been recommending You've Got Mail, and now I've only got to watch When Harry Met Sally, I feel like. Then I've got all the Nora Ephron. I've got my perfect Nora Ephron autumn. I don't know why, but that hasn't been like a genre of films or something that I've really watched before. I don't think they're as popular, maybe in my age group or maybe in my surrounding people group, family. No one has really ever been like, you should watch that. Now I've had people in my life been telling me, go watch it. I hate when my brows are like all fluffy, or like all over the place. And so yeah, I really very much enjoy Sleepless in Seattle. I was crying on the flight to Seattle. And then I also watched The Whale, which I really enjoyed. That was something in preparation for the Oscars, or like in general. I'm a cinephile, I'm a movie geek, I'm a cinema person. I've studied, obviously, media studies in my bachelor's and master's. And so yeah, I've watched a lot of films. Not all of them, obviously, because now I'm still watching some classic films for the first time. And then 2 books I finished, both by Emily Henry. I've now read all of her books. I'm really highly anticipating, well, with all of my fellow Emily Henry lovers, her next book, which she has just recently announced. I've read Happy Place and then Beach Read, and I would say I enjoyed Beach Read a tiny bit more, because I felt that the way in which the story played out was a tiny bit more relatable and very close to life, close to actual human kind of like troubles. I felt like Happy Place was in some ways a bit like not very much relatable, and also I didn't feel like the will they, won't they. I felt like a couple of the problems they had were very much brought onto themselves by themselves. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, I think Book Lovers is my favorite Emily Henry book. Then I would say Beach Read. Then I would say Happy Place. And then on 4th place is People We Meet on Vacation. Yeah, I would say that's it. I mean, I enjoyed all of them. I love all of her books. But yeah, I feel like Book Lovers is still my favorite, and I might have to reread that at some point. But yeah, that's it. I hope these like extra 7 minutes didn't. I mean, if you guys are into that kind of stuff, you'll understand why I felt like I had to put it in. And also, I don't really want to punish myself for having a lot of stuff to talk about and then rush through it. I feel like there's a lot of people who really enjoy watching that kind of content, and if my favorite YouTuber put out like a 2-hour video, I'd be stoked. So if that's you, if you enjoy watching that kind of thing, thank you so much for watching again, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.